at the fire or enough water. And so work began to have to bring water down from Croton. You used to live near there, right?
Yeah, right. Town, well, sort of,
yeah. So Croton Reservoir to bring it down by gravity, and to put it in a reservoir. You asked before about
the remnants of the old reservoir.
Yeah, there was a rectangular reservoir. And so if we look over there, now it's the Great Lawn, but before it was the Great Lawn, it was a reservoir, and before it was a reservoir, it was called York Hill. So I think it must have been more hilly than now it's completely flat, but it must have been if it's called York Hill. But that land, when they were going to build the reservoir, that was primarily owned by the city, and there were only two private landowners. And one of them was a man, William Matthews, and he was the deacon of the African Union Methodist Church. Yes, AUM Church. And he owned like 4.75 acres, almost 5 acres. And he was given $11,000 for his land. And so he moved into Seneca Village, and in 1837 he built his church here, and he also built a house here. And then other people who were not landowners but were, had to move off the property also came into Seneca Village. So then when you were saying how many people lived here, so then by 1855, it was like we said, 264 you said, and then you also said 500
over the time period.
Going. So, and
was there once or just during
the time?
During the time, 500 people were here?
There were never probably once, no.
There were
people moved in, they moved out, others moved stayed longer.
There were 70 houses, so 70 times, well still if you say 70 houses times divided 70 into
200.
It's what, now?
200 into 70, right? Well, it's almost 4. Yeah. 4 times 70 is 280.
And I would think more, because say like we know, for instance, that Andrew Williams lived with his, well, didn't he have a grandchild? And also he lived with his daughter and son-in-law who was a waiter. And and the little 7x9 house, they had a big family in that little 7x9 house. But maybe that's also because the churches didn't have people in, so, maybe some of the buildings.
One floor?
One room.
Well, they probably had a second floor, right? They had something above.
I don't think so.
It was one floor, 7x9.
So anyway, but maybe
I'm not familiar with the 7x9.
Yeah, that was in the Park of the People. That was the one thing I was able to read and think of. So that's how many people, and it was a stable community. People, well, like Andrew Williams, he lived here his whole adult life, and until he had to leave. And out of the 12,500 approximate free African Americans, less than 100 could vote, and 10 of those people lived here. So this was quite a place, right? Abolitionists and people who belonged to benevolent societies. Then when it became a third European, because there were English, German, and Irish immigrants, from what we think, they integrated very well. They primarily lived on the outskirts, but that could just be because the houses were more available. Maybe the central houses had been bought. And there's a record of an interracial couple who unfortunately gave birth to a stillborn child, but that child was delivered by an Irish midwife. And the churches, one of the churches was integrated. So it seems as if it was a very progressive place.